Your Windows password is the last line of defense to keep unauthorized users from accessing your data. Making sure that your password is complex, yet easy to remember, can be a challenge. So in this next video, I'll show you all of the techniques that you need to create complex passwords, and perhaps even use some of the more advanced features like picture passwords or personal identification numbers. Let's look at the video.
Your password is one of the most important security features of Windows 8. The password, also known as a secret, is the way that you prove to the Windows 8 computer that you are who you claim to be. So when I try to log on as Paul Palmer, I provided a password that verified to Windows 8 that I am in fact the correct user. In order to use a password that's secure, you should create a password that is long and complex and difficult to guess. Password complexity can be achieved by mixing uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Special characters are, for example, the asterisk, the hashtag symbol, the ampersand, the percentage sign, and so on. When it comes to password length, longer is better. Windows 8 will let you set up to 16-character password depending on what kind of user account you have. If you're signing in with a Windows account, 16 is the absolute maximum. If you're signing in with an account that's provided by your company and you're logging on to the company network, you may be able to set a longer password, but if we're honest, when a password gets to about 16 characters long, it can be hard to remember. Plus, if you're using a laptop with a touchscreen or a Windows 8 tablet, keying in a very long password can be quite difficult and frustrating. That's why Windows 8 has provided 2 new password replacement features. These features are called the PIN number and the picture password. To set up one of these new types of passwords, make sure that you are viewing your start screen and then type in the keyword password. At first there'll be no search results because the search results are filtered for apps, and I don't have any apps with the word password in the name of the app. But if we look at settings, there are several settings that we can use to work with passwords. And the one I'd like to show you first is the picture password function. To create a picture password, click the button called Create a Picture Password. First, Windows 8 will ask you to confirm the user account password. Take a moment to read the help description and then click the button to choose a picture. I've already saved a picture into my images folder. You can take whatever picture you like and then choose open. I can now confirm that I'd like to use this picture, and then I need to perform 3 gestures. The Windows 8 picture password feature relies on either straight lines or circles or taps. So I need to look at this picture and decide on 3 areas that would be easy to remember for me to do either a tap, a straight line, or to draw a circle. It's worth noting that with the straight lines, Windows remembers the start and end points and therefore also the direction in which you make the gesture for the straight line. Of course, this works very well on touchscreen devices, but I can use the mouse to do that as well. So my first line, I'll draw from the left-hand tip of the butterfly's wing to the bottom left-hand tip. You might have seen there briefly on the screen there was a confirmation flash. I can then do one from the antennae on the left to the tip of the antenna on the right, and then another one from the wingtip on the far right to the bottom right. So for each of those, Windows has made a note of the starting point and the end point of each of these gestures. Remember, I could also have used either a circle or a tap motion. To make sure that the password will be easy to remember, and to make sure that Windows understood my gestures correctly, I need to repeat those gestures. So once again, from the front wingtip to the bottom on the left, from the left antenna to the right, and from the wingtip to wingtip on the right. If I'd made a mistake, Windows would show an error message and I would need to go through those gestures again. But now that I've done that, I can click Finish, and I can now see on the user's screen options that I have a remove option. So this means I've successfully set the picture password, and at a later stage, if I'd like to remove that picture password, I can just come to the screen and remove it. So let's test that. I'll close the PC Settings app, and then from my account ID, I will lock the workstation. To unlock Windows 8 from the lock screen, I now need to provide a picture password. Note that I've always got the backup option in case I forget my gestures to use the original password. But if I have a password and a picture password, it'll always show me the picture password by default. Note that I also have the carets for ease of access and power options, which I would have had if I was just looking at a regular login screen. Let's go ahead and do those gestures. So on the left, wingtip to wingtip, from the antennae, tip to tip, and on the right-hand wingtip. So I have a successful login using those gestures. If you were looking very, very closely, you might have noticed that it wasn't picture perfect on the exact millimeter of where the gestures began and finished. It's more about getting the general direction and end points and beginning points of each of those gestures. So don't be afraid of using this feature. And even if you can't get the gestures 100% right, remember that you can still log in with your original password. Next, let's have a look at setting up a PIN login for my system. Once again, from the start screen, I can just type the keyword password, go down to the settings section, and now I can request to create or change my PIN. From the screen, click the button to create the PIN, and then confirm the password. PIN is an abbreviation for personal identification number, similar to what you'd use when using your bank card with an ATM. A PIN is very convenient to log in with because it's so short. Windows 8 limits you to only 4 characters in your PIN. But with only 4 characters, there are still 9,999 different PIN numbers that somebody would have to guess before being able to log onto your system. And Windows 8 will detect that somebody's trying random PIN numbers and will lock the system to prevent them from getting access. So it is a safe option, perhaps not as safe as a very long password or a picture password, but you're sacrificing some security for the convenience of only having to tap in 4 numbers to log onto your tablet or your touchscreen laptop. So I'll key in 4 numbers and confirm them. As with typing in a text password, I can use this peek feature to show me what I actually typed in as the password, in case I'm having trouble typing in and confirming the PIN number. Once again, let's test that. So I'll close the PC Settings app and use my account ID to lock the machine. From the lock screen, note that I now have to type a PIN number to unlock the machine. I do have sign-in options to either use my picture password, my regular password, or use the PIN as originally requested. As soon as I typed in the final character of the PIN, the screen was unlocked, so there was no need to press enter or click a button to submit the PIN information. If you decide that you don't want to use the picture password or the PIN anymore, you can go back to this password settings, and either of these you probably noticed take you to the same screen. So PC settings under the users section, I can easily remove both of those extra features. So to review, I can easily set either a picture password, which lets me draw gestures on top of an image, or a PIN, which lets me type in numbers to log on to my computer. If you're using a tablet or a machine with a touch screen, these new features may save you some time and make it more convenient to log on, but for maximum security, my recommendation is a 16-character password that you type in text. It's made up of a combination of different characters, numbers, and special characters.